sexual assault allegations involving members of Humber's men's and women's rugby teams. 3 scientists have won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for their work on DNA repair. Doctors Without Borders is calling for an independent inquiry into the U.S. attack on an Afghan hospital.
Hi, and welcome to Humber News. I'm Morgan Gallagher, coming to you from our newsroom here at Humber College North Campus. Toronto police are investigating allegations of sexual assault involving members of Humber College's men and women's rugby teams. Both teams have been suspended until further notice. Our reporter, Nick Bear, has the story.
It's supposed to be game day at Humber. We're supposed to be celebrating. But Humber's men's and women's rugby teams have been suspended due to violations of the Code of Conduct, and students are reacting to the news. Traces of this year's rugby program have literally vanished from the walls of the North Campus. Posters have been removed, games have been canceled, and students are left with more questions than answers.
It's a little frightening, actually, to think about not getting all the information, not knowing exactly what's going on, and obviously, how to keep things, just really knowing the truth. That's what matters most.
The trophy case speaks for itself, but some signs of that success have been stripped from view.
Especially for previous players that won championship, you don't get to see your trophy up or see your picture. It sucks.
This school is just kind of trying to sweep it under the carpet and not really let people know that there is an issue here that we need to address and we need to talk about it.
And talking about it is what we can expect to happen in the coming days as the investigation unfolds. Both rugby teams had their games forfeited this week, but the rest of the season's games remain unclear. Nick Bear, Humber News.
A trio of scientists has been awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Thomas Linthal, Paul Modric, and Aziz Sankar won the prize for their work on how cells repair DNA damage and safeguard genetic information. The Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences says their work has provided fundamental knowledge of how living cells function and will be used in the development of new cancer treatments. The men will split the nearly $1.3 million prize. Doctors Without Borders is calling for an independent inquiry into Saturday's bombing of its hospital in Kunduz. The bombing was carried out by U.S. forces at the request of the Afghan military, which is under fire from the Taliban. The attack killed 22 people, 10 patients, and 12 staff. Another 37 were wounded in the bombing. U.S. General John F. Campbell has admitted to a Senate committee that the attack was a mistake. The president of Doctors Without Borders wants an independent inquiry into what it's calling a war crime.
So it's very important that somehow, there's some clarity about what happened, and that as a community, we reaffirm that we are upholding to the Geneva Convention.
The Geneva Conventions outline standards of treatment for civilians and prisoners of war. Here at home, Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne is meeting with the high-ranking official of China's Communist Party, but under a veil of secrecy. The meeting is taking place behind closed doors, and the media has been excluded from all 3 events that have been scheduled. The Premier's office says the Chinese asked for the ban on reporters, but Wynne has promised to meet with the media afterwards. 2 weeks to go to the federal election, and another Conservative candidate has been dropped from the ballot.
My name is Jagdish Greywall.
Jagdish Greywall is no longer running in the Mississauga-Malton riding after his controversial article in the Punjabi Post was made public yesterday. The editorial was written earlier this year. It endorsed so-called conversion therapy that claims to cure homosexuality. The party says the comments are not reflective of the Conservative Party views. Toronto police are appealing for public information after officers were assaulted at Yonge and Dundas this weekend. In a news conference this morning, Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders called for public discussion on why this behavior is becoming socially acceptable.
My concern is that these people were throwing bottles at police officers. There were children that were in the area. We were responding to a person with a gun. And to be quite honest, I hope that there were a lot of people that had their phones recording. I would like a copy of that person or those persons throwing things at the police, because they will be charged criminally. We need to have that discourse right now on what is acceptable behavior. Social media seems to change certain attitudes and makes it more performance, when the reality is people do get hurt.
YouTube videos show spectators hurling bottles at police and a mob forcing officers to retreat. It's believed the crowd was gathered for Nuit Blanche, although no installations were at Dundas Square. The news comes after Scotiabank pulled its sponsorship from the all-night art festival. Smile, frown, or even cry, you're on Candid Camera. North York residents at Bayview and Eglinton were unknowingly part of an elaborate prank. The non-for-profit group, Raising the Roof, posted a sign in a vacant storefront in the upscale neighborhood saying it would become a homeless shelter. The storefront had a hidden camera to catch the reactions of people. The hoax is part of a larger campaign to bring awareness to the problem of homelessness in Toronto. The video is expected to be released next week. To South Carolina now, where the rain may be letting up, but the fallout isn't over yet. 15 people are dead and hundreds have been forced from their homes as historic rainfall ravaged South Carolina. About 800 people have been displaced to shelters, and officials say more evacuations are likely. Several rivers and dams remain above flood levels, and thousands of residents in the capital are being told to leave their homes because of fears that a nearby dam is about to burst. Rescue workers in Guatemala say 300 people are still unaccounted for after last week's mudslide. New aerial drone footage shows the scale of the disaster. The mudslide is confirmed to have killed 150 people. So far, no survivors have been found in the neighborhood located at the bottom of a ravine. Rescue workers say the chances of finding anyone alive are unlikely. Volkswagen will be launching a huge recall in January for vehicles affected by the emissions scandal. Volkswagen says up to 11 million vehicles worldwide contain a diesel engine with the software used to cheat on U.S. emissions tests. A spokesperson says the recall will start once German authorities have approved the company's plans to fix the cars. The recall is expected to be completed by the end of 2016. Here at Humber, if you're feeling a bit uptight about your school year so far, Student Success and Engagement was out today, reminding you it's not over yet. Alex Martino took a deep breath and has the story.
Even though it's only week 5, students may already be feeling the grind of the semester.
The volume of work and the constant pressure we have to perform in clinical as well as academically can be quite a lot.
For that reason, Humber Student Success and Engagement held a mental health awareness event in the LRC today. Students were invited to fill out a depression and stress screening test to figure out what signs of anxiety they may have, and stress kits were handed out. Members of Humber's nursing program created a Zen garden showing students the wide spectrum of techniques for self-care across all 5 senses.
Using all your 5 senses really helps you destimulate and relax a little bit.
That was not only to raise awareness for mental health, but also the array of programs available for Humber students to use throughout the year. And clinical psychologist Mary McNabb says there are steps you can take right under your nose.
Being aware, first of all, if you start having that feeling, those thoughts of, this is too much, I'm overwhelmed, I can't take this, I don't know how I'm going to get this done, seek help for it.
Counselors agree knowing yourself is the most important step to de-stressing and getting towards mental health. Find out what works for you before the going gets tough. Alex Martino, Humber News.
Summer may be over, but grills are still going at Humber Lakeshore. Our lucky reporter, Greg Chow, got this assignment and has the details.
Things got a little heated this morning at Humber Lakeshore, where students lined up for the event that left their mouths watering.
Well, it's a beautiful day. You got the music, you can do a little dancing while you get your hot dog or your sausage, and I think it's a great cause, so wanted to support United Way.
The United Way charity teamed up with Humber's faculty and professors to provide students with hot dogs and burgers for a delicious price.
We're kicking off the United Way campaign today here at the Lakeshore. We're really excited because it's a chance to engage all the students, faculty, and staff in the Lakeshore just in this great initiative.
What do you get when you combine the United Way and a barbecue? Lots and lots of donations. Rotisserie style. Greg Chow, Humber News.
Meanwhile, the Lakeshore campus is buzzing with the addition of beehives. But as Jessica Tedesco reports, some students are feeling stung.
If you've noticed more bees buzzing around campus, there's a reason. This year, Humber College introduced beehive conservatories at both campuses.
Bees are very important to our ecosystem. About 30% of our grocery stores are there because bees are there in our world. So they're having trouble surviving in our world these days, and so we decided what a great place to have them here, get students to see them and watch them do their work and show how important they are to our world.
Some students expressed concern over the increased number of bees on campus.
Bees are scary and they sting, so I don't know if I'm really about them.
I don't like it because I think it increases the risk of someone who's allergic to them to get stung, and that can't be really good.
Beekeepers Fran Freeman and John Kaufman introduced the idea to increase awareness on the important role bees play in the ecosystem.
Bees, having them here, we have them here anyways, and they're not going to bother us. We've also put them in a location that's visible, but not accessible whatsoever. So yes, we want students to interact with them with their classes or with our beekeepers, but they're not going to harm anybody in the situation that we've put them in.
The beehives are inaccessible to staff and students, but can be seen through glass windows in the L building. Jessica Tedesco, Humber News.
When we come back, we'll tell you what's happening in the world of sports, and Christina McAllister will have your 3-day forecast.
You won't be needing your umbrellas anymore today. The rain is holding off and the clouds have cleared to reveal a beautiful fall day. I'll have your full weather forecast after the break.
But first, surgeons in Brisbane managed to reattach a toddler's head after it was severed from his spine. 16-month-old Jackson Taylor was airlifted to a Brisbane hospital with critical injuries after a car crash.
The second I pulled him out, I knew that his neck was broken.
A team of surgeons reattached his head to his spine in a 6-hour surgery.
It is a miracle.
Jackson will wear a brace for 8 weeks to help his tissues and nerves heal.